Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. You guys and gals should be really thankful that you get to watch me today in video and not in person. I've spent the morning moving a bunch of manure, and let's just say that I probably don't smell too good right now. Just took a break, ate a little bit, and I think I'm gonna clean up afterwards, because if I don't think I'll be allowed back into the house until I do. Oh, the joys of homesteading, getting to deal with a lot of poo-poo. But the next year's garden will certainly love it. Today, well, I don't know. I've been on this subject for a while, but I think it's an important one. Last few videos I've put out have talked about the very strong possibility that in the next few months, few weeks, by the end of this year, wherever that timeline falls, I think we're talking fall to winter, things could start looking kind of rough for us around the country and possibly around the world. There is a lot of indicators, economic indicators. There's a lot of food supply and just general infrastructure of that supply system. Indicators showing that it's while it's been crumbling and it's been getting weaker and weaker over the past 18 months, that it's starting to come to a head. And it's starting to get to that tipping point that we're not able to maintain it. You know, before all this happened, you know, there was surpluses. There was enough produced that if certain areas didn't do so well, the rest of the area would kind of compensate for it, you know, whether that be in the agricultural industry or whether that be in, you know, shipping or whatever it is. But now there's been so much affected, so just a wide spectrum of things that are being affected. Everything from the shipping industry to supply chain to the agricultural industry to the economy, everything is being affected, that it's all coming to a head. I've used it and others have used the term that it's kind of a perfect storm is brewing. And that storm is very likely, and I'm not saying it is, but it's very possible that storm is coming to a head probably this fall, this winter. I've noticed just in the last few days on YouTube, many YouTubers that, you know, produce content like myself, maybe on the preparedness side of things, maybe they're on the more economical side, financial markets, or maybe they're kind of delve deeper, even deeper than I do, into the, you know, conspiracies. They're all putting out kind of the same message right now, that folks, you need to get ready, because it looks like what's happening is going to start coming to a head this fall, this winter. That doesn't mean that just because everyone's saying it, it's true. You know, because everyone says the sky is falling, it doesn't mean that the sky is actually falling. But I think what it's happening, at least from my perspective, is that there are certain people, whether it be on YouTube or just experts in various industries, that have come out and said this, and they're respected enough that everyone else is like, yeah, this is serious, I need to get this message out. So there's more that's happening. And I just wanted to point out one thing that it seemed to be a little blip in the news today, that Janet Yellen has said that, well, America is going to be in default by October. We're going to be in default and not able to produce any more money and not able to go into any more debt, because we have exceeded our debt limits here in the United States. And so she, of course, is proposing that Congress, once again, extend the debt ceiling. Will they do it? It's most likely yes. You know, they do every time, and there's this big hype. But the point is we're just going to be spending ourselves into even more tyranny, spending ourselves into more, you know, falling apart. I mean, I don't know what else, I don't know how other words to use it, but we are shooting ourselves in the foot as a people, as a nation, by continually going into debt more, printing of more money, the circulation of more money, the loaning of more money, at the same time that we're not producing. The GDP is falling, is expected to continually drop even further. A lot of forecasters are saying that 2022 is probably going to be about the worst year yet when it comes to the economy and production and all these things. You know, you look at the job markets, you look at agriculture, you look at housing markets, you look at people that are being evicted from homes, rental places, and foreclosed on their mortgages. That it's probably going to start happening this fall, this winter, and by next year, there's a lot of people that seem to know more than I do are saying that it could be pretty rough. Is this that moment? Are we viewing that moment where things are going to radically shift? Is all of this that we have seen thus far a build-up to this moment? I don't know if this is that moment that everything changes, that the globalists finally take over, that the World Economic Forum's initiatives are finally put into place. I don't know. But what I can say that it doesn't look very good. And so for you, the individual that is awake, that is aware of this stuff happening, you need to take it serious, I believe. Doesn't mean you need to be in panic mode. Doesn't mean that you need to go into debt and cut off everything in your life to just only focus on preparations. It means, though, that you need to take it serious, reevaluate everything, make sure that you have what you need, and make sure that your plans in place, whether they be to be hunkered down, to live sustainably, self-sufficient, to bug out, to cut yourself off and kind of secede from the rest of society. Whatever that plan is, you need to reevaluate it, make sure that it's solid and that you're ready to go, because it looks like it's happening. Something else that I noticed, and I know that some of you that may follow things that are happening on the news and Twitter world and stuff when it related to news and politics, might say that they use this all the time. And what I'm talking about is the phrase of the guy that sits in the White House and his whole campaign, Build Back Better. That was one of his campaign motto slogans. But it's also the slogan of a lot of people on the left. In fact, it's a slogan of the United Nations. It's the slogan of the World Economic Forum, of this Agenda 2030, of the Great Reset. That is the slogan that they're all using. There's leaders all over the world during all of this health crisis that have been using this slogan of Build Back Better, Build Back Better. You can find all kinds of video compilations of them all over the world using this. I noticed, and this may mean nothing, but I was just kind of searching around this morning, looking at news and things that might be of interest to talk about. And in the last 24 hours, a lot of left-leaning globalist politicians here in America have tweeted something about Build Back Better. I'm going to show you these are just a few, because there's a bunch. I mean, there is a bunch. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. This is all within just the last few hours, last 12 to 24 hours, that they have been pushing this. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily a signal that something's about to happen. Don't think that I'm going off into one of those conspiracy realms that, this is that code word for something. No, what I think it's showing is that they're moving past. If you look at the stuff that they've been doing just in the last couple of days, the stuff that's been coming out of the White House, the stuff in the news media, they've already, the news cycle has changed already. Afghanistan, nobody cares about that anymore. It's gone. It doesn't matter that there are 6 planes trying to leave with Americans on them, and between our own government and the Taliban, that they're refusing to allow them to leave, that they're basically being held hostage, because the State Department won't give them clearance to land anywhere, and that doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter that, what's happening with the food supply, what's happening with just the fact that we have a leader in the White House that no one respects anymore, and the poll numbers are dropping. It doesn't matter what's happened over the past week or so with the hurricanes and how many people died and the amount of destruction and all that. None of that stuff matters, because we've switched to a new cycle. And the new cycle is that, well, climate change is horrible, and we're all going to die, and we're all going to die from it. And we're past the point of no return. We can't really reverse this anymore, but we can kind of slow it down if we hunker down and we give up all of our rights and we hand our whole destiny over to the hands of these globalists to decide how we should live. That's the new thing. And, it doesn't matter that the economy is completely collapsing around us. It doesn't matter that people are getting kicked out of their homes. It doesn't matter that no one's working. It doesn't matter that America is no longer producing pretty much anything anymore, at least on any kind of grand scale. It doesn't matter that China is taking us over, moment by moment all around the world. None of that matters. What matters is that we've got to radically change everything because of, climate change. We got to build back better, build back better. Maybe I'm off on this, but I think that this is the new distraction. This is a distraction, and it's also part of their end goal. And I think that we're going to see that. It wasn't but just a few months ago, I believe it was CNN, but it may have been someone else, that was saying that, as soon as this whole, health crisis is over, the next pandemic is climate change. That's the next crisis. We've got to take this serious. And they're talking about climate change as if it is a health crisis across the world, that it's, some disease that, we've got to lock everything down. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dr. Fakey starts, peddling some thing that you get in your arm that's going to cure, climate change. I mean, it's insanity. It's insanity. And that is going to be the next thing that they're already talking about. It's not the next thing, it's the current thing, and it's picking up speed. And we're seeing talk about that, how we have to change the market, how we have to change the job market, that it's not the same as before. We have to change industries. This fourth industrial revolution is going to bring about all these green technologies that's going to, propel us and evolve us into the next stage of human evolution and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I know some of you might be sitting there thinking, wow, sounds some pretty crazy stuff. I'm not making it up. If you just do the research, I'm just paraphrasing what many of these world elites have said for quite a while now. That's what they want. And so we're seeing once again this build back better, build back better, build back better being pushed down our throats. And of course that sounds all good, even though it's kind of a meaningless phrase, but it sounds good. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it has any meaning to it. It doesn't matter if it is actually going to fix anything, but it sounds good. And, well, we live in a world that focuses on our feelings only, and that's all that matters. We have the economy in shambles. We've reached our debt limit. And so what we're going to do, we have no money to pay it back. If we taxed everyone on the planet 100%, we couldn't pay it back. And, everything else is falling apart around us, but we're going to focus on, building back the world under this big umbrella, because we need climate change to be fixed. And don't be surprised as things continue to spiral out of control. That's going to be the excuse, the shipyards are backed up and the ships can't unload. And I mean, it's kind of, sort of, the health crisis' fault, but it's really climate change's fault. It's really climate change. That's why you can't get your stuff in your store. That's why you can't get that couch that you ordered 6 months ago. That's why you can't get the microchip for your new Ford pickup that you bought. That's why you can't, get anything fixed. You can't get anything replaced. You can't go to store. That's why you have to have this thing so that you can go do your grocery shopping, and you have to have a little proof of it on your phone that they scan. And there's biometrics. And then, of course, they're going to put it here, and they're going to put it here, and all this other kind of stuff. You got to do that because it's climate change. And we got to save the planet. We got to kill off humanity so that we can save the planet. I may be stretching it just a little bit, but I don't think very much. And so the point today is that I agree with most of these other people out there on YouTube and out there in various forms of alternative media that's telling people that you need to get serious, that things are rapidly changing, and over the next 2 to 3 months, we could be in a serious situation, a situation where there's just not enough stuff to go around, a situation that they are almost forced to put out regulations that require a passport to do business and go to the grocery store, because there's not enough food in that grocery store anyways to allow everyone in there. So at least we can cut it down a few by doing that. The odds are, I think, that things are going to start. I can't imagine them getting better. I can't imagine them getting better by fall and winter. Could everything be the same as it is now? Possibly, yeah. I mean, there's a possibility of that. But we're not in a stagnant state. None of this. The economy isn't stagnant. There's no indication that it's kind of, going off into a plane and it's kind of stagnant. There's nothing to indicate that the supply chain and any areas of the supply chain is hitting a plateau to where we're kind of just stagnant for a while. Nothing indicates that we are hitting a plateau and we're kind of stagnant. Everything indicates, including the words that, all of these people on the media and the politicians and the world leaders, all the things that they're saying, indicate that things are about to start changing. And when we hear that and we see the numbers and we see for our own eyes what's happening in the stores that we go to and our jobs and the things that we're hearing, it's probably a good idea to stop and take notice of it. It doesn't mean it's all correct. It doesn't mean that the sky's going to fall tomorrow or by October or by November or anything like that. But it does mean that we could very possibly be entering into a whole different kind of era in American history and in even global history. That we're going to start seeing things over the coming months that we probably thought we would never see in the United States, in the land of plenty, in the land of freedom. We could start seeing things that we never thought we would see. We already have over the past 12 to 18 months. I suspect, again, that was all kind of setting it up. It's all kind of that's the pitcher in the bullpen. He's over there warming up. And now he's taking the mound. And that's the indicators that I'm seeing everywhere. So folks, as much as you can, take it seriously. Get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Go over your plans. Stock up as much as you can. Fine-tune things as you can to get yourselves prepared, because, again, it looks like that we are kind of headed off into a direction over the coming months that could be difficult for a lot of us. All right, folks. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.